Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Tuesday. It is the first video of the week. Back to regular schedule programming. See if we could keep sniping this market and making some money. Let's go ahead and set the backdrop. Over the weekend, there was some more posturing, some more talks that Iran pulled out in protest of, I guess, peace deals. There's a lot going on. There's multiple variables associated with the ongoing conflict. Really, all I care is how that impacts the market, and the safety of our country is really the only things I focus on. So it seems as though we are safe here for the moment. And at the moment, it looks like we'll figure out the war. With that said, that's really the only thing in the backdrop of the market. I'm going to start with the Nasdaq, kind of like to summarize what we have here, because last week we had the first Fed chair meeting. And I made the video on Wednesday, and that was my only video. We had a smaller week because on Friday, rather, the market was closed because of the Juneteenth holiday. So we didn't have the market open on Friday. And so what we had was data that happened Wednesday. Wednesday is this red bar, and I mentioned it throughout the day while I was recording the video. Kevin Warsh's conference seemed pretty positive overall. I would say that the things he was saying were very optimistic. He was trying to calm everybody down. However, there's a lot of conflicting data by economists that say that they're programming in rate hikes. I don't believe it. I'm going to bet against that, and I don't believe that for a second. So with that said, we had that day, came down really not much, and then the Thursday recovered a ton. We hit a all-time high again on the market. We fell short, sorry. This morning we were at an all-time high and then got rejected, which I don't love on a technical standpoint. I hate getting rejected at an all-time high. So the market is down a little bit more than a quarter basis point. Riding the 5-day moving average, still above the 21, which to me, when you're above the 21, you're all systems go. Really anything above the 50, depending on how you monitor it, but anything over the 21 is usually all systems go. So I've positioned accordingly. Bitcoin wanting to carve out a low. I don't believe it for a second, just for the record. And again, I had my weekly Bitcoin purchase Saturday. I know I'm like a broken record. I don't think this was true capitulation. I hope I'm wrong, but I think we're going lower inevitably. So just pointing it out, there's nothing to trade there. Though I did see that this morning was recorded the highest Bitcoin inflows, I believe it was over the weekend on record. So that could be a good sign. Oil, again, down today. And it's crazy because I had people chirping to me yesterday, texting me, oh, oil's going to recover. Iran walked out of the deal. Oil's completely cratering. I mean, this is not a chart. This is a chart you would short, and it's trying to hold on to dear life at the 200 moving average. It's not going to. Once it loses this, it's going back to this area, which is in the 50s and the 60s. I have covered some of my short. I was kind of hoping to get one of those like Trump Iran things that oil pops up one day like 5-10% so I could grab more shorts. Doesn't look like I'm going to get that lucky. So oil short continues to work. That has just been fantastic, working for everybody involved. You're either in UCO like I am, you're shorting that, another 3.8% down today. Jesus. This is going to this area, by the way. I don't really know if anybody, but anyways, you could, or if you were in SCO, which I know a bunch of buddies of mine are in SCO and they're doing pretty good. They bought this in the, mid 20s, low 20s. They're in the 33s. I think this is going to probably go up to the 40s, the 50s. So very favorable conditions there. Gold down 1%. I'm just only pointing it out. This looks terrible. Yeah, I shouldn't really be trading anything in gold right now. All right, what do we got? I think we did everything. Okay, so now the 10-year is up today. Shit. All right, let's go into stocks because that's how we make our money. Let's talk about what we bought last week, what we didn't buy. Let's do first Western Digital because I got some heat about this. Everybody's like, oh, man, you sold here, and it went up again the next day 6%. Guys, if you have 40, 30, 40% profit and you selling, no one is going to go broke selling at 30% profits. However, I talked about this as very large gaps, and I think this is going to have a blow off top. Can I be wrong? Absolutely. Could I have potentially left 10, 20% on the table? Absolutely. Everybody I know that sold this at the end of last week did great. Everybody sent me messages. All of you did over 30% profit. Congratulations. I'm only pointing that out because people were chirping me on Thursday and they're like, oh, it's up again today. And then this morning pre-market, it was up like 6% today. Now it's down. I mean, whatever. It's only down 1%. But anyways, it's just, I'm only pointing it out because it's just, people are ridiculous. These are the people that, like, a football team is up 48-0 and the team scores 7 points and it's 48-7 and all of a sudden they're celebrating in the end zone. Like, dude, like, that doesn't work. SpaceX down another 10% today. Obviously, no chart. I'm only going to speak about the fundamentals, guys. I talked about this in exhaustion with so many people over the last 2 weeks. Stocks, IPOs always come back to their IPO price, and in many cases go way below their IPO price. Today, they diluted shares. They did an offering, and they did a bond offering, unsecured notes, as you could see, right? That is a way to raise dollars internally. Not necessarily a bad thing, but it is some dilution and some greed, in my opinion, at least so early, kind of like that early. Anyways, I think this is going back down to its IPO price. I'm not trading it either way. I'm only pointing it out. It has wreaked a shit ton of havoc in the space names. Thankfully, we got out of Rocket Lab when we did. And this is just sometimes, again, I'm not in this stock, but guys, like, we talked about this and so many people that I text, like, this was breaking down. You could not give this whole move up. I know some of you bought it here. I was in it here, but you bought it here. You couldn't give this up and let this come back down here. So hopefully you got out. ASTS, another one that just absolutely getting pounded right now, down another 7%. Jesus Christ. All right, moving right along. I don't want to spare everybody the depression. I'm going to get to some of the new stocks that I bought and what we're trading. Intel, talked about this, is like my favorite chart of the stock market, continues another 4% up. This is line, if you can see this. I'm not going to draw the line. That is a clear cut. You have a double bottom here, and then you have a breakout. Technically, again, I said this last week, I said it the week before when it was forming a base. This looks fantastic. 150, definitely incoming. This is not financial advice, but rather for educational purposes. 150. I'm going to go ahead and say I think this is going to 200. I'm going to go on record. Let's look back June 22nd. I think this is going to 200. And I think it's going to 200 relatively fast. And I'm in calls. I'm in shares. I have long dated calls on this. I'm very, very bullish. I know how, obviously people talk about diversification of stocks, and I believe that to an extent, but I'm very big proponent of, like, what Stan Druckenmiller says. He's like, I like to put all my eggs in one basket and watch my basket very closely. And this basket is pretty big. It doesn't mean necessarily I have to just ape in everything, but this is pretty, I don't know. I think you could do a lot worse than investing in this. So anyways, Intel looks stupendous. I'm going to go to the Pinguino, which was up like a raging bull this morning. The Pinguino hit today in the morning It was up to 77.40, which was an all-time high, has given back $7, was up 15%, only up 4%. Look, do I like it? No. Do I think it's some profit taking? Yeah, I still think this is super actionable. I love this name. I'm going to continue to stay in this. Here's the thing, though. If you did buy it where we bought it, we're up over 50%. An argument could be had to take some profits. I'm not going to do that because I've taken profits in other names, and I happen to think this looks good right now, so I'm going to let this one go. Lumentum, which I have really been worried about this. I've had this on a very tight leash, and admittedly today I was going to sell half the position, but it's up 6%. So what does that mean? If it doesn't do tomorrow, doesn't recover and get above this high, I will sell half the position and keep half and let the other half go. I need to see something out of this. Doesn't mean I'm going to sell the whole thing because I really like this name, but I have to mitigate my downside risk, and I don't want to get caught in a base building, and I don't really love the way this is panning out right now. Dell, we talked about flexibility. We got back into this name. For those of you who text me, we got back in, doing good so far, up 3%. For you activated trigger people, I mean, it would be above the all-time highs, 470. That's if you want to get into it and you need an activated trigger. Sandisk, I feel like sometimes stocks are too good to be true. Sandisk, it has to be too good. I don't think it's down ever. Like, this stock just never is. I mean, I'm up This is the seventh time I'm playing this stock on a swing trade. I got in like 2-3 weeks ago, and I'm up already like, I don't even know, 40-50%. I mean, just crazy movement. I might take a little bit off today, maybe 10-15%. I could see myself taking 10% off. I mean, this is like just, I don't think it's going down. I want to give myself some room in case I want an add-on. Sandisk, and then Micron, another one that this is unreal. Like, so much better than Western Digital or Seagate. Seagate also in the group. Oh shit, I can't type. Sorry guys, it's the Red Bull. It doesn't give. Holy fuck. Did I just curse on YouTube? Jesus Christ. Seagate, this doesn't look as good to me. Anyways, moving right along. TGTX, got back into this again, traded this, sold it, traded this, sold it. And then I'm like, I can't miss it. I had to get back in, had a little dip. I think it was Wednesday. Activated, doubled the position. I mean, I was selling bits and pieces of it. Anyways, this looks great. I think so. I think AbbVie this morning, if you don't know who AbbVie is, they're like one of the largest. ABBV. Yeah. AbbVie acquired, yes, this therapeutics company. And, well, they're up. Usually the company that's acquiring isn't usually up. This company is up like 55%, by the way. If I can, I will. 5 or 60% today. That sparked like a rally in biotech names, and that's hence the reason why TGTX keeps going, because they're a buyout candidate. If TGTX gets bought out, which is the whole plan for TGTX, they're going to skyrocket in value. And so there's a lot of speculation. There's mergers and acquisitions. There's a lot going on. So TGTX going to ride this. AMD, I am down to almost no position. So let me tell you what I did. I basically sold almost all my shares. I have like a very, very small position, and I took some calls, very long dated, just so I wouldn't feel like I am not involved. By the way, this is in my IRA. This is one of my best. I bought this years ago. This is in my IRA. It's somewhere back here, so maybe like $80. So this is like one of my best performing stocks in my IRA, but I bought a couple calls, long dated. I rang the crash register for my shares. I have just a couple left. Nothing to write home about. Okay, 13 minutes in. Red Bull break. Okay, Hood down today, though I still like this. But I did talk about this last week. It's going to have some issues in this area, so monitor. If you just took it on a trade, make sure your stop is set. Two stocks that I love. I'm going to go ahead and give you the goodies for today. There's two stocks that I love, and one of them I bought this morning. So FormFactor is a stock that I've been really watching. It's up maybe 1 or 2% since I bought it. But this is a double bottom, very similar to Intel, forming a breakout here. This looks really good, I think. So I bought it this morning, new purchase. We'll see how that goes. And then I did not buy this morning was Vertiv. This is also fantastic, but it is not activated trigger, and I'm not going to stretch it now. I intended to buy this morning, but I could not get it at the time I wanted it, and I did a limit order. I did not want to do a market at the way it was trading. I wanted to try to catch a little discount. Didn't work. So anyways, bought FormFactor this morning. That's my new purchase. Western Digital, I'm out. SpaceX, gonna shit the bed. Oh, I sold AXTA. I actually sold that this morning. I sold it on the pot. It was green. I sold that. I'm not saying for those of you that own this that you need to sell this. I'm not saying you need to do that. I sold it only because I was up in profits, and it's such a slow mover. The thing is I'm leaving it there because if it gets above that 35.70 range and it breaks out, I'm going to have to get back in again. This was really off the bottom. So anyways, I sold it, rang the cash register. And I think that's it. Primoris, I traded this in calls. I sold the calls. I mean, it looks like it wants to do something. I don't know. Put it on your watch list. Keep an eye. You needed to get above here, by the way, to really buy that. And then, CRDO. Sorry, how can I forget that one? I got back into this last week again. I was day trading it and now up 12%. Admittedly, I'm going to sell this today. This was more of a day trade. Not necessarily day trade. It was like a quick swing. Got 12%, got back in on Thursday, so I'm going to sell that. This is a really fun stock to trade, by the way, during the day. The cadence is pretty simplistic if you use it on a shorter time frame. That's it. 16 minutes in. That's my first video of the week. I'm going to have another one. Pretty simplistic, pretty straightforward. I'll leave you with the backdrop. Nasdaq down 1%. The small caps up 1%, Dow up 1%. I like that divergence, though. That is such a super healthy tell of the market. When you have this, you want to see that divergence, and I really like that. That rotation continues to signal strength, and I just don't see the sell signs yet. I mean, I tell you, when I see them, I'll tell you. I don't see them. I still think the rally, we keep chugging along. All right, guys. Hope you have a great rest of the week, and I'll see you towards the back end. Take it easy.